back to the lab with Jordan Moore and John Jackson on Trojans Live.
Welcome back to Trojans Live. Jordan Moore, John Jackson, and the head coach, Clay Helton, joining you on the first night of spring football. Trojans will have 15 practices, all of which are free and open to the public. Come on down to campus right on Howard Jones Field and get a front row seat and see this team develop all spring long as they build towards what Coach hopes to be a big 2018 season. And just in the nick of time, you announce a running backs coach, but it's a familiar name in Tim Drevno. And Steve Gordon asking this question. There was somebody else, too, that asked about Coach Drevno and what his role will be. And obviously we know him as an offensive line coach, but he comes in to coach running backs. What's the plan for Coach Drevno?
No, he's our running back coach. He's our run game coordinator, protection coordinator. He's just an unbelievable great teacher. He's a guy that has coached running backs before in his career, has coached tight ends, has coached O-line. He's been an offensive coordinator. He's been a play caller. I've had the opportunity to work with him and know how elite he is, both not only on the elite college level like USC and Michigan, but the San Francisco 49ers. You're just talking about an elite teacher that brings a lot. And to be able to get a gentleman like that on this staff, I was like crossing both fingers. And so to watch him today and be back around him again was truly special. You know, we lost a really good man in Dealin, and we gained a really good man in Tim Drevno. So very happy to keep that quality of coach right here at USC.
You know, I know you can't give away any of the trade secrets, but when Coach Drevno was here before, that's what I knew you're alluding to is, you know, this offensive line was firing on all cylinders. The run game was, I mean, not that it wasn't bad last year, but the run game was maybe at an all-time high for the, you know, in recent, what we can remember in recent memory. What is it about him that gets the kids to gravitate to what he's teaching and buy into what he's saying?
He's a great relationship builder. I mean, he takes, I think the greatest gift you can give somebody is your time, and he takes times with kids, and not only from the X's and O's standpoint, but he'll sit down with them and get to know a kid and help. He's truly there to help develop. And then when you talk about having another great mind, you have a T. Martin, and then you add a Tim Drevno that has elite run game knowledge and protection knowledge. Man, that's special. I mean, I sat there with Tim when I was a coordinator and watched him work and the ideas that he came up with. You know, he has that extensive background from Stanford and being able to physical, hard-nosed run game. He instituted that, you know, while we were here and brought great ideas to the table. So to have him back and just see the chemistry between him, T, Neil, you know, Brian Ellis and Kerry Colbert today was really, it was like getting a family back together. And to watch those five men work was really neat today. I was smiling.
Yeah, and you mentioned the name that I wanted to ask about next. I mean, you haven't talked about it yet, but Kerry Colbert comes back, and he's you know, the slot receiver coach and the tight end coach. Is that correct? Okay, so I just want to make sure I get that straight. He's been a part of the staff before. He's been with you, so it's not like a brand new face. But what do you like about him in terms of what he brings to the table for this coaching staff?
I've known Kerry for a long time, you know, before he left to go to Alabama, and always knew that if I ever had the opportunity to be a head coach, he was one of those guys that you wanted to reach out to and have the opportunity to get on board. And, you know, when I got the job, I had the opportunity to talk to Kerry in Alabama and said, you know, Kerry, I don't have a position open right now, but, man, I'd love for you to come back, learn the system. I have two really talented coaches in T. Martin and Tyson Helton, that are, one's on pace to go be a head coach, one's probably going to be an offensive coordinator. And I like to groom from within. I like the kids to have those relationships with coaches, and things don't change on them. They see that face, they trust that coach, and he's an elite coach and an unbelievable recruiter. Helped us tremendously with this past class, and so excited to have him on board with us.
We've talked a lot about how much production you have to replace in the offensive side of the ball. Watching those two guys crush the combine on Sunday, you've got a lot to replace in the defensive side of the ball, even though it's, you know, not as many players maybe. But your top two pass rushers basically, in Rasheem Green and Uchenna Nwosu. You do get Porter Augustin back. That certainly helps with the pass rush. But what do you see in the front seven in terms of replacing that playmaking ability?
Yeah, I think two things have happened for us. One, I see the personnel that one was developed and is coming back. So to get a Porter Gustin back, that's a tremendous pass rusher. To watch him today fully healthy, I mean, he looked phenomenal. And then the development of a young man like Jordan Iosefa, which we saw late in the season, and how well he played. It was neat to see. And, we instituted another package to be able to put a Rasheem Green or a Christian Rector from a 3 technique position to a defensive end position on passing downs. And I thought that really helped us. I thought that was a great move by Clancy to be able to do that. We have some elite 3 techniques in my mind that are growing up, and to have the ability versus zone read teams to be able to put a Jordan or that type of athlete with a Porter, out there to control the zone read game, and then on passing downs or passing football teams to put true pass rushers out on the edge. That's been a big compliment to us in the second half of the season, something we'll do moving forward.
Now, the one thing you do have also is you have the linebackers, your linebacking core. You sort of alluded to it a little bit, but you got some veteran guys coming back. Coming back there. How do you like the dynamic of this defense? Because for this team coming up this year, the defense seems to be the veteran guys, the leaders, of this team. Are they responding that way?
Definitely. You could see the confidence level today, the communication that they were using today, and they have their jaw set. They've got a chip on their shoulder, and we've already talked about it. This has got to be a team that wins strength in numbers, and we play great team football. We got away, just being honest, with some things last year that just because of the talent we had around us at quarterback and running back and wide out. But one of the things that we're really emphasizing is just the fundamentals of technique of clean football. When I evaluated us over last season and I look at the tape, and we were a poor turnover margin team last year to win 11 games and be the turnover margin team we were. It was extremely fortunate, as well as we were a penalized football team. And that a lot of that had to do with being very handsy and the fundamental technique of having your feet in place, hat in place, and hands in place. And those are things that you work on in spring camp and fall camp that we're really making a point of emphasis. It's my biggest point of emphasis as the head coach, because I think that's my job. So I'm getting to coach a little bit more, which makes which I'm good with. I damn hurt
not good for the players.
I hurt my damn knee today doing it. I thought I was 18 again, but it allows me to be around them to feel me and improve an area. When you're 11-2 and win a conference championship and want to take that next step, it's that much. It's the fundamentals and technique that have to get done.
Yeah, and I just wanted to give you a second to tell them to invite the people down too. I know you want to invite people down to spring practice, and obviously the Coliseum is a construction site right now, so there'll be no formal spring game in the Coliseum, but still a fun opportunity to have people come down the practice field.
Yeah, so we have 14 practices that are open to the public. We probably had about 100, 200 people out there today, Trojan family and Trojan fans. We welcome everybody. Come out and see these kids. They absolutely love to have our Trojan family out there. They're a great bunch of kids that are working extremely hard, and we'd love to have you over the next 14 practices. We practice every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, so come on out.
All right, season tickets at usctrojans.com/tickets. Renewals going right now, as well as new season tickets, so get on board for the 2018 season, and we will have a new player behind center. It used to be under center. Now it's really more behind center. We'll talk to one of the candidates next. Matt Fink is next on Trojans Live.